Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be the long road to self-mastery. What we're going to talk about today is patience and doing the things that you need to do in order to improve whatever area of your life that you happen to be working on. I've got 3 emails that I'm going to go through with you today, but before we get into the first one, I've got a quote that I wrote on this topic. It's really important to understand the mindset, because most people, when they want to accomplish something, a big goal in life, they want to build a business, or they want to get that dream job or dream career going, they want to finish college, they want to improve their social skills, maybe somebody who's very shy and just afraid to talk to members of the opposite sex, and just making eye contact absolutely terrifies the shit out of them. All those things take time because we all have irrational fears around the things that we want to accomplish, or where we see challenges or obstacles, or because like when you look at like a really big goal that you want to accomplish, a goal that may take a decade or more, it's easy to look at it and get overwhelmed. It's kind of like looking at Mount Everest going, Jesus Christ, that's a really big mountain to climb, and this is going to take me a really long time to get there, and you know what? I don't know if I could succeed at that. And so people look at things, it's like deep down we all know what we really want in life, but most of us are just too afraid, too scared to really go for it because we're afraid of success, and we're also afraid of failure. So let's go through this quote real quick, and then I'm going to jump into the first email. And it says, direct your attention and focus on what you want to accomplish. Big goals are accomplished by breaking them down into small daily goals that can be easily accomplished in a matter of hours or minutes each day. Budget your time so you make the time to do the things that are necessary right now in order to get where you want to be in the future. You must prioritize your to-do list based upon what is absolutely critical that you get accomplished before you go to bed tonight. If you do, you will be able to go to bed at night feeling content, peaceful, and relaxed because you made a little progress today. When you schedule your priorities daily, your goals and dreams will become a reality over time. And that's the hard thing. It's because we're in a society that's like, give me the fucking magic pill, give me the magic sentence, give me the magic phrase, give me the magic pickup line to use. Everybody wants a quick, instant fix to everything, and life is just not like that. We look at like the world's best basketball player, who right now happens to be LeBron James. And we go, oh, that guy was born that way. He was born magnificent. He was born with great genes. Well, obviously he was born with great genes, but he worked on developing that talent. And every time I see him in an interview, just this past week before they won Game 4 of the first round of playoff series, the very beginning, first interview before the game started, he said, well, we're just trying to focus on getting a little bit better each day. One of their main players, Dwayne Wade, was coming back from an injury. He missed like 9 games in a row. The more they play together, the better they get. And at this time of the year, in the middle of the playoffs, this is the best time to be healthy and be peaking physically and as a team, because it's going to really help them as they go through the playoffs, because the playoffs are a total fucking grind. I mean, many of these games often will go 7 full games. What's nice is that most of the teams that they're going to potentially play, they're all still playing. They swept their first opponent in 4 games, so now they get to rest and practice. But everybody else that they're going to be playing is really exerting themselves physically. That's going to make a huge difference as the playoffs go, as the finals continue to go on until they get, obviously, till it's down to the last 2 teams. So let's get into the first email. This guy says, hey Corey, I'm a 31-year-old man living in England, and in many ways I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I have a beautiful home. I love what I do for a career at the moment, which involves performing, doing mad things in the street with the public, giving presentations, lectures, and teaching. Clearly, to do all of this sort of stuff well and enjoy it so much, you have to be confident in what you do. Well, where does confidence come from? Confidence comes from experience. Repetition's the mother of skill. I say it all the time, just like the great Aristotle said thousands of years ago. Excellence is not a singular act, it's a habit. You are what you do repeatedly. Success is a matter of habits, of rituals that you do on a daily basis. Hence, what I focused on in that quote that I wrote and shared with you earlier in the video. So what you do, it's like confidence is really doing what you know how to do and doing it really well. And obviously you've been performing and teaching and doing lectures. You didn't just start doing this, you've been doing this over time. And each time you do it, you get a little bit better. He says, it's like that in that area of my life. I just don't question myself or my ability. I'm good at it. It's a done deal. Yeah, because you've rehearsed it over and over and over and over and over again. You can't help but get better at it. It's like any of you that know how to ride a bike, you obviously remember what it was like the first time you hopped on it, and obviously where you're at now. It took time to get that good. He says, so you can imagine my frustration at the moment when I can't seem to find that level of confidence in my approach to dating women. You just haven't rehearsed it enough. It's that simple. Especially when you come to a website or a video channel like mine, and you start applying these things that are very counterintuitive and contrary to the way you've been showing up in your dating and your personal life. And obviously a lot of the things that I teach are often exactly what you've always done in the past. But the bottom line is, if you found your way to my work, it's not because everything is going great. You're obviously realizing you're having challenges and things are way harder than they need to be in your life. But you have to do the work. It's the only way you're going to get better. I remember I had an email the other day from it was a YouTube comment. Guys, he went to the mall and he just pretty much froze up, and he saw another dude approach a girl that he wanted to approach, and the guy was talking to her for a half hour. He's like, I'm a fucking failure. Okay, so you failed that day. The only way you're a real true failure or a loser is if you just quit trying. You got to keep practicing. Everybody goes at a different pace, and you have to get to a place where you're okay with failure and you're not beating yourself up. As long as you're taking action, you're going to get there. Even if it's inch by inch and millimeter by millimeter at times, you've got to continue to move towards what you want. Because most people are so afraid of failure and they don't think it's in the cards for them, they don't move towards what they want. They're just focused on existing, earning a living, eking out a living, and they make themselves miserable in the process. He says, I came out of a 7.5-year relationship 7 months ago, and I found it very difficult to find new dates. I managed to get a few phone numbers along the way, but nothing ever seems to materialize, often not even a date. So what? Not every woman is going to like you, dude. And I know there's lots of people on the internet and have written books that give you the impression that, oh, you're going to get any woman you want. When you learn this stuff, every girl that you like, she'll fucking drop her pants and you'll have sex with her. Or she'll want to marry you. That's the impression they give you. That's a bunch of bullshit. The reality is attraction is not a choice. Men and women don't have control over who they find physically attractive. You just know it when you look at that person. You feel it. It's something that happens internally. And you got to look at asking for phone numbers or asking women out on dates. It's just something that you have to do in order to identify who's really serious about you and who's not. It's just like a salesperson would do. You walk into a car dealership. You may have heard this phrase before. How serious are you? Are you a serious buyer? Are you looking to buy today? That's the salesperson trying to judge whether or not you are actually worth their time. In other words, when there's more people coming into the dealership than there are salespeople, and there's only so many hours in a day, they don't want to sit and talk to somebody who's just a tire kicker, who's just out looking at cars for the fucking hell of it because they got nothing better to do. If they're not talking to people who are serious about buying, they ain't making a commission. And you got to look at it the same way when you're interacting with members of the opposite sex. You want to get to know right away whether they're into you enough or not to give you their phone number and make a date with you, or they're not, because you don't want to waste your time. And what happens is, you ask out 10 women and only one of them says yes. Then you're pissed off about the 9 that said no to you. Who fucking cares? It's part of life. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to want to sleep with you. Not everybody's going to want to be your friend. Not everybody's going to want to hire you. Not everybody's going to want to invest in your company. Not everybody's going to want to be your business partner. That's just a fact of life. Don't take rejection personally. All you're really looking for is trying to identify who do I connect with and who do I not connect with. But the only way you can find that out is by opening that big hole in your face. He says, I've had several encounters where either I've made a good amount of eye contact with a girl out in a bar or a club, I got chatting with someone beautiful at a party, or even had this one occasion where this hot girl was basically putting it on a plate for me, or my friends, so my friends say, and I just didn't pick up my knife and fork, so to speak. He says, it's crazy. How can I do some of the mad and crazy stuff I do in public for my work, or teach large groups of people, or perform on a stage, or any of this, and not even be able to just go up to that girl who looked at me a couple of times and just say, you're beautiful? It's simple. The reason you have a hard time with that is you have not done it enough. You have not rehearsed it enough. You have not practiced it enough. It's as simple as that. And what's happening is your mind is trying to protect you from failure, and so therefore you're mostly avoiding those situations and you're not even trying. You miss 100% of the pitches you don't swing at. Fucking go for it. Who cares? At least if you show up and you go for it, you did your part as a man. He says, I want to be able to just go up to a woman and say, you're beautiful, I want to talk to you, let me get you a drink. The thing I know that works too. Well, I wouldn't go, hey, let me buy you a drink, or hey, let's come over, let's have a drink together. Invite the girl to join you for a drink. When you say, let me get you a drink, it's like, hey, let me buy her a drink. Want some dick? It's like a bribe for sex. Don't come off like that. Hey, why don't you come over here if you care to join me for a drink? Grab her hand and lead her over there. He says, I just seem to chicken out all the time. Something you say in your videos all the time, you believe that you don't deserve to be happy. That's exactly right in this area of my life. I never think like that in my work or even general approach to life, but when it comes to love and sex, that's where I find myself right now. I guess my question is this: how do you untrain yourself from thinking like that enough to have the confidence to just go up to that girl and tell her that she's the most beautiful girl in the place and that you want her? Simply just go up and do it. You got to practice it, because what's going on is you're suffering from the paralysis of analysis. You're sitting on the sideline, you're reading my book, you're studying the videos, and you're really not taking a lot of action. And you wonder why you're not getting any better. It's as simple as that. He says, I'm trying to work my way through your videos at the moment. Inspirational stuff. Thanks for at least making me feel like this is all solvable. What you need to do over the next 30 days, get a little journal, get a little book, and keep track. I want you to ask out 100 different women. Ask them out on a date. Don't just ask for the phone number. Make a date right on the spot. It doesn't matter what happens, whether they say yes or no. The idea is to get through it, because you got to get through past your fears and all the bullshit that you tell yourself. Because the reality is, the women that you're going to see and you're going to interact with, some are going to like you, but the majority of them are not. And you won't really see that or believe that until you experience that on your own. That's why I say ask out 100 women. It's that fucking simple. So let's get into the second guy's email. He says, Dear Coach, I met a fantastic 30-year-old woman at this bar that I sometimes go to on my weekends, which are usually Thursday and Friday of each week. I practice everything you taught by focusing on hanging out with the guys and chatting with everyone by being a social animal. She noticed how well I spoke Japanese, and eventually we started talking seriously. She even moved over closer to me, and we discussed my martial arts background. That tells me that she's interested. She didn't have a choice in that. But because you had the confidence to engage her in conversation, she's reciprocating because she likes you. This is what women do when they like you. They move towards you. When they're not really that interested, they're kind of like drifting like, okay, I gotta go. It's like they're just trying to get away from you. You can feel it. You can sense it. But women who want to stick around, they will stick around. They'll ask you questions. They'll try to keep the conversation going. He says, I found out that she's going through a divorce and has a 4-year-old daughter. We eventually moved over to another bar and we talked some more, with the night culminating in me giving her a kiss. She kissed me back and it was passionate. Skip to about a month later, and here is where things get complicated. Well, the one thing you got to realize is that she's in the middle of a divorce. She's not even divorced yet. And like I talk about in my book, women that are in this place, well, 1 minute they're going to be hot and heavy and all over you, and the next they're going to be an emotional mess. And what you must do more than anything is make sure that you maintain their sense of freedom. In other words, they can come and go as they please. Because if you try to lock women down to a commitment, or you start acting or treating them like your girlfriend, there's a good chance they're going to bounce on you because her emotions are all over the place. Her family's breaking up. And that's a very traumatic thing to go through for anybody, men and women. He says she booked a hotel for a couple of nights at her college town so that we could do the town over the long holiday here in Japan. I also booked an expensive hotel for both of us with a little bit of Japanese support from her. She dropped the L word earlier about a half week before this, so I thought everything was good. The last time we met last Thursday, she acted odd, saying that her period was coming soon. Well, that's obviously going to affect her hormones and her emotions, especially the fact she's getting out of her marriage and she's telling you that she's in love with you. He says, I didn't buy it, but I merely accepted what she said and didn't push the subject. After her daughter went to bed, we made love again and yet again early in the morning. At breakfast, we had donuts because her daughter likes them, and she told me that continuing was my choice since she had a kid and wondered if it would be hard for me. So you can tell there's all kinds of fears going through her mind here. Oh, he's probably not going to like me because I have a child. Maybe I should stay married. Maybe I should try to give this marriage another go around. Maybe I shouldn't be so quick to end it. He says, I told her I care a lot for them both, and it was no problem to keep seeing her. The following Monday, I received a text message from her that I should cancel the hotel reservations I made. I asked why, and she said she realized that she didn't love me anymore. I told her, really? That's a shame. Well, I wouldn't have said that's a shame. I would have just said, really, come on. Yeah, I know you miss me. I want to see you. When are you free to get together? It's like, even if you fell out of love with me this week, you know what? Next time you see me, it's like you'll just rip my clothes off. Be playful. It's like, don't let, because what's going on is she's totally full of fear right now. And you're going, oh, okay, well, you don't love me anymore. Oh, well. Be fun. Be playful with it. Make her feel comfortable. Make her feel safe and comfortable, like I talk about in my book. To which she responded saying that she wants to focus on her divorce and that is her priority right now. I told her I understood and that it was up to her to walk away and that I wanted her to be happy. She replied saying that I will find someone even better than her and to not compare myself to any other man in this world and that the answers to anything is in my mind. I told her she had taught me so much in our time together, thanked her, and said if she wished to try again that I would be here leaving the door open. That's all you can really do at this particular point. Well, give me a call when you start missing me. I know you're going to call me in a couple of days or a couple of weeks. You got to have that kind of attitude because what will happen is once she starts to calm down again, when the hormones settle down again, she'll be like, oh, that was really silly of me. And then she'll reach out to you, and then you just set the next date. All you can really do at this point is just move on with your life, assume you'll never hear from her again, and keep dating. She may come back, but you got to understand, when you get involved with a woman like this, she's going to be all over the ice. But for the most part, you handle things pretty well. So let's move on to the third and final email. And this is from a woman, and it's very short. And she says, I can't stop drinking. I'm a terrible mother. And what I would say about that is it's not that you can't stop drinking. It's that you're choosing not to stop drinking. It's just like if you've ever been in a conversation with somebody, a heated conversation, then all of a sudden the phone rings and you completely change your state, you change your physiology, and you're like, hi, how are you? Oh, great. Everything's great here. How are you? Is everything wonderful where you are? So I got a couple quotes that I wrote down that I've got in my book of quotes, and it says important. Your job as a mother is, because even if you completely sucked as a mother up until this particular moment, it really doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is what you do right now today going forward. Because every moment is a new moment. So what you choose to do today or not to do is going to determine where you're going to end up in the future. And here's a really great quote. So as a parent, as a mother, this is what you owe your child. Children never benefit from being raised in a house run by a marriage where love is absent. In those situations, parents only set an example of a loveless home for their children to use as a role model. They later wonder why their kids have lousy marriages, asking themselves in the woe is me voice, where did I go wrong? Where did you go wrong? You gave them a bad example as a role model. That's from Larry Winget. And here's another one. This is one of my favorite ones. It says, parents need to fill, this is what you really need to focus on as a mother. Parents need to fill a child's bucket of self-esteem so high that the rest of the world can't poke enough holes to drain it dry. Here's another one, and that's by Alvin Price. This one's by John Locke. Parents wonder why the streams are bitter when they themselves have poisoned the fountain. So you got to think about that. The best thing you can do is to focus on yourself, to focus on your goals, to focus on your dreams, to creating a great life for yourself. Because your job as a mother is to teach your child or children to be self-sufficient, to believe in themselves. Your kids need love. Your kids need encouragement. They need hugs. They need kisses. They need to see mom taking care of herself. And if you have a drinking problem, because here's the deal with addiction. When someone's using alcohol or drugs or chocolate cake or chocolate as as an escape, what's really going on at its root cause, addictions are avoidance of feeling something. And so maybe you should go see a psychologist. Maybe you should go talk to somebody to talk about your problems, to get those things out that are bothering you, because what you resist will persist. And if you're constantly getting intoxicated and avoiding maybe a bad life situation, or maybe you're not happy, or dealing with something that maybe happened in the past that you haven't dealt with, you're just using as alcohol as a tool to push that down inside yourself so you avoid feeling it altogether. And a therapist, somebody like that can really help you get past all that. But you got to focus on, think about what are you teaching your children? That's what they're going to emulate. If you're drunk all the time, that's what your kid's going to grow up and emulate. And the best thing that you can do is offer them a great example of a mother who loves herself, who accepts herself, and is just doing the best that she can. And like I was saying earlier, if you completely sucked as a parent up until this moment, just like one of the things that Tony Robbins says, the past does not equal the future. The only thing that matters is what you do right now, today. What do you want to create in your life? What do you want to become? What are the dreams that you had when you were a little girl that you maybe have set aside because you felt that it wasn't in the cards for you, or you weren't strong enough or smart enough, or didn't have enough education or enough money or enough connections or enough intelligence, whatever it is that you felt you were lacking? Start moving in that direction. And I highly encourage you to also book a paid phone coaching session with yours truly, so I can help you find some answers to those questions. Because if you have a compelling vision of your life, if you have something that you're excited about and you're working towards and you're taking action to make that happen, you're going to feel better about yourself. You're going to feel good about your future. But if you're just using alcohol to avoid dealing with situations that you know you need to deal with, it doesn't serve you, and it doesn't serve your children or your family members for you to in essence, continue avoiding life and staying stuck in a rut, so to speak. And what I can do is I can help you figure out what your purpose is, and I can help you put together a plan so you can actually start moving in that direction. And once you have a vision, you have something to be excited about, something to strive for, something that's really emotionally compelling to you. It's the kind of thing that'll get you up early in the morning and keep you up late at night. Then you won't be so apt to just sit around and feel sorry for yourself. Because I have a lot of psychologists and therapists that send clients to me who are helping people with their issues, but what I'm good at doing is helping them figure out what it is that they really want to do with their lives, and then putting together a plan that is simply a matter of taking action in order to achieve it. So like I said, if you'd like to get my help personally, go to my website, click the products tab, which will be at the top of your screen on any page of my website, and just follow the instructions. And I will talk to you soon.